Welcome to Fearless with Jason Whitlock. I am Jason Whitlock, your host. Happy Labor Day. Thank you so much for joining me on this very special Labor Day. Man, we're going to get in and out today. I got some things I want to get off my chest on this Labor Day weekend. We didn't want to take Labor Day off, so here I am live from my home replaying an incredible weekend of college football. Unbelievable. In that, what we just experienced over Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, if that doesn't make you fall back in love with college football, if that doesn't make you feel like, man, I know they've made a mess here, and they have, with the transfer portal, with name, image, and likeness, with just the whole thing. It's just oversaturated. But holy cow, was that not enjoyable? Oh, don't you need a cigarette? Don't you need a smoke after Miami, Notre Dame? What a great ending to my Sunday night. And I was rooting for Notre Dame. But holy cow, that game was incredible. And to see the Miami Hurricanes win that game and to see the play, what is the guy's name? Is it C.J. Daniels? What was the guy's name? Because I'm getting confused with the quarterback from Notre Dame. Didn't he have initials too? I don't know who made the catch for Miami, but that was incredible. The fact that Notre Dame came back and had a chance to win the game, hats off to Marcus Freeman and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They will be in the playoff hunt probably. Miami, Mario Cristobal, and what Miami's done, he's returned. It looks like the Hurricanes to greatness. That was 27-24, best game of the weekend. But what happened before Sunday was all just fascinating and interesting. And the most interesting thing, obviously, was Arch Manning, the debut of Arch Manning, and the roasting and the vilifying, the vilification of Arch Manning. The people coming out of the woodwork to say, oh, y'all didn't give Shedeur Sanders any grace, and, you need to roast Arch Manning the way you did Shedeur Sanders. How Shedeur Sanders gets dragged into the Arch Manning discussion speaks to the ignorance, the total ignorance and politicization and racialization of college sports. But if you just watch the games and you could drown out the noise, it's like, man, this is fascinating. Peyton Manning's nephew, Eli Manning's nephew, Cooper Manning's son. All this hype. He's a Heisman Trophy favorite coming into the season. He faces Ohio State and lays an egg for most of the game. Lays an incredible egg for most of the game. But if you're really watching, in the fourth quarter, the kid showed promise. He showed real promise. And looked like, okay, now I see what everyone's talking about. And if you step away from social media, if you step away from X and Black Twitter and the Shedeur Sanders cultists, because Shedeur Sanders is in the National Football League. He's the third string quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. He has nothing to do with Arch Manning. If you step away from that and just evaluate what really transpired, or if you just move Shedeur back to his college days, and we came up with this comparison for today's show. Shedeur Sanders, in his 30th career start, 30th. Remember, he started at Jackson State. He had some starts at Colorado. And then I believe on September 23rd of 2023, in his first year at Colorado, he faced number 10 Oregon on the road. He finally faced a good team. Not someone that was preseason ranked, supposed to be good, like TCU, which was actually trash. He finally faced someone good. Here's what Shedeur Sanders did in that game. 159 passing yards, 4.8 yards per attempt, 5.9 yards per completion, total offensive yards, 125 yards. That was Shedeur Sanders against great competition, Bo Nix, Oregon, Dan Lanning, and he got his brains beat in. The whole Colorado team did. Arch Manning, I believe this is his third start. His third start against the defending national champions, Ohio State, which is always good. He's getting roasted for 170 yards passing, 5.7 yards per attempt, 10 yards per completion, and total offensive 208 yards. Let's pump the brakes before we cancel Arch Manning. Let's pump the brakes. Don't let Twitter and social media and the Shedeur cultists ruin Arch Manning. He may not win the Heisman this year, but I don't think the story has been written about Arch Manning just yet. Let's wait and see a little. Well, you didn't give Shedeur time. No. We gave Shedeur plenty of time. When Shedeur was at Jackson State, we celebrated him. When Shedeur showed up at Colorado, he was handed the starting job without competing. Every broadcaster lived in fear of criticizing Shedeur Sanders. Every broadcaster lived in fear of crossing Deion Sanders. There's no fear of Cooper Manning, Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, Big Archie Manning. No fear. You can say whatever you want about them. You can say whatever you want about their son, their nephew, their grandson. Because the Mannings are held to a manly standard, and their grandson, nephew, son is held to a manly standard. He can be criticized. He can be roasted. He's supposed to handle it. He can go through the fire and be made anew or made better. But Shedeur Sanders, he needed to be affirmed. He needed to be coddled. You're racist if you say anything about Shedeur Sanders. If you say that the guy won 9 games in his last year and somehow got his number retired and put up into the rafters at Colorado, you're racist. You just don't like Deion. They all have it out for Deion. They want to show Deion. That's why he didn't get drafted until the 5th round. We keep feminizing and homosexualizing the black players and their father, while the white guy gets treated like a man. I'm sorry for interrupting your Labor Day with these deep thoughts, these troubling, these politically incorrect thoughts, but I got to do it because no one else will. If I don't do, you know who I'm Tony Montana. There go the bad guy. You need me. You need me. Because you're afraid to be who you really are. I'm not. I'm the bad guy. I'm going to tell you the truth. And the truth is that Arch Manning has a chance to live up to the hype, if not this year, next year. The truth is the criticism and the mocking that Arch Manning is going through is actually either going to make him a better player or he'll crumble and fall. He's going through the fire. You can't cook bacon without turning up the fire. So, yeah, go ahead and barbecue Arch Manning. It was a bad game. He didn't look good. He looked overhyped. He didn't hype himself. He didn't put himself in the Heisman candidacy. The media did. Paul Feinbaum did. But I have a feeling if he survives this, it's going to be some real tasty bacon made here. Shedeur Sanders, on the other hand, will probably be a failure with the Cleveland Browns, the cultists that just want to affirm him and protect him from criticism. And, he's authentically black and Deion's confidence, and no one likes Deion's confidence. And I don't know if I did this on the show last week. I know I did something, I think, over social media this weekend. But this whole thing about confidence being the source of all success, it's a joke. Humility is the source of all success. And that leads me into my transition into the father of all fathers, the most unhumble man. Luke, I'm throwing a bit of a curveball. I'm just going to segue in where I don't need a pause. I'm not going to take a break. I'm just going to segue right into Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders got humbled on, it was Friday night. I mean, I'm sitting here. When I told you all what a great college football weekend this was, yes, Miami beating Notre Dame was a righteous, beautiful dessert. And I was rooting for Notre Dame. But that was such a tremendous game that I just enjoyed it. And yes, that was a dessert. Loved it. And yes, Arch Manning and Texas and Ohio Stadium, a 14-7 boring game. That was a nice appetizer. Nice appetizer. Loved it. But the meat and potatoes were served on Friday. And it was Deion Sanders. And holy cow, Friday night was just awesome. Because Deion got served a slice of humble pie. Georgia Tech came to Colorado and put a clown suit on Deion Sanders. No, let me take that back. I want to be accurate here. Deion Sanders put a clown suit on himself against Georgia Tech. That was wonderful to watch. Wonderful. I went into that game committed to, hey man, Deion's got bladder cancer. Deion's a sympathetic story. I'm rooting for Colorado and Deion. This could be his last season coaching football or pretending to coach football. Could be his last season. Deion has given Warren Sapp, whom I love, a coaching opportunity. Deion has given Marshall Faulk a coaching opportunity. Deion has given Byron Leftwich another coaching opportunity. Love all this about Deion. Hey, with Sapp there and Marshall Faulk and Byron Leftwich, and now that Shedeur is gone, I'm going to root for Deion Sanders. I promise you, I authentically went into this season wanting to root for Colorado and Deion Sanders. Probably lasted 30 seconds. Deion comes out in one of his little gold chains and all that, and I just look at it, and I can't do it. The man's 58 years old, dressed like a little kid with these gold chains. He's so insecure that he still wears the big gold chains and dresses like a little kid. I just can't do it. And so when they got to the end of the game and they have a chance, they're down 7, and they have a chance to come back, and they have 2 timeouts and I believe 1 minute and 2 left. And they complete a pass on first down with this Caden Salter, and then they let 25, 30 seconds burn off the clock because Deion didn't take a timeout. And I'm like, what are you doing? You got 2 timeouts. You can't spend them next week, next year. They expire at the end of that game. What are you doing? And I don't believe Deion is a legitimate head coach. And I don't believe you can say, well, he made this mistake because he struggled this offseason with his health. No, Deion doesn't know what he's doing. He's a loudmouth, great athlete, tremendous athlete that doesn't have an ounce of humility, doesn't promote humility, doesn't have an ounce of humility, doesn't understand the power of humility. He's all confidence, all swagger. He's bought in. He helps sell this myth to other young black men that swagger is the source of all of your success, and it's actually the opposite. Swagger and self-confidence actually undermine success. And yes, that is a revolutionary thought in this era that we live in, because we've been so bathed in stupidity. Everyone believes self-confidence is the source of everything. And that's why we must affirm, we must protect someone's self-confidence. No, we must humble people and get them to tap into the right source of confidence. And that source is God. And I only hold Deion to this standard because he wears one of these big gold chains with a cross around his neck. He claims a Christian faith. He has no understanding of it. Zero. And many black people don't. The people that affirm Deion Sanders and are fans of Deion Sanders look at this man bathe himself in self-confidence and arrogance and point to that as some source of strength and success. Everybody throws out all biblical standards. Oh, he's black. Let's throw out all biblical standards and then celebrate him in everything that's the antithesis of biblical standards. And so at the end of this game, Deion does not call any timeouts, both timeouts. He never uses either one. They only get like 4 or 5 plays off. And after the game, when it was obvious to anyone with a brain cell that Deion had a coaching meltdown and didn't know what the hell he was doing, Deion Sanders defends his foolishness because he doesn't have an ounce of humility. He can never acknowledge when he's wrong. And this is the problem. Deion is the example of the problem that is undermining young black men and black culture and black people. And Donald Trump, America, no humility. No identification of have no confidence in the flesh. Philippians 3:3. No concept of that. No understanding of what that means. That all confidence, everything should come from God. Deion Sanders gets in the press conference after the game, and of course he defends himself, defends his decision. He's oblivious. Play the clip.
I think we got out of bounds a couple times, so we didn't have to take them. So that's what transpired. We got out of bounds, I think, on both sidelines. And that's what happened. After the first, I think we got a good play, and we caught the ball, I think, for 9 yards. We got 1 yard to go. So if you get the first down, the clock stops. So it don't make sense to really use your timeout in that sense. So we were just really trying to preserve them till we certainly needed them. So, I mean, I don't want to go home with timeouts. They don't do me no good, but you got to be strategic as well. Just burning timeouts just to burn them, just so you guys won't say nothing. That don't make sense.
If you've ever wondered why you'll watch videos, they call them black fatigue videos. You'll watch these videos and be like, damn, why won't they just comply? I just watched one this morning. It was from 2 years ago, first time I saw it. But there was a woman who was with her man. They were in Atlanta. Black woman, black man. Black police officer pulled them over. And the black man, they were getting a ticket for basically loitering in a park when it was closed. And you can't be in this park after a certain time. They claimed, hey, we're from out of town. We didn't know. And the cop's like, okay, but I'm still giving you this ticket. Ignorance of the law is not a defense for breaking the law. I'm still giving you a ticket. Just sign the ticket or citation. And the black man signed the citation. When it was time for his woman, girlfriend, date to sign, she refused to sign. She started arguing with the cop. She started in what's your badge number? What's your last name? What's your badge? And again, she didn't do it once. She did it like 3 times. And the cops told her, just like he had told the man, hey, if you don't sign the citation, you're going to get arrested. And so he eventually told her that if you don't sign the citation, you're going to get arrested. And she wouldn't sign the citation. She said, okay, I'm going to arrest you. Turn around, let me put the cuffs on you. Then she starts, why are you arresting me? Why are you cuffing me? Blah, 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 blah. And the man had already told her. And so there's this rejection of common sense, rejection of correction that is pervasive amongst us. Everybody struggles with correction. But when you're a Christian, you should actually embrace correction. You should actually glorify in it. You should actually be pleased and I'm being corrected. Let me adjust. Thank you, God. And so this woman, by the time, I'm going to cut out a bunch because it's like 15-minute video. If you watch the entire thing, she starts wailing and crying. And then she starts, he finally gets her in the back of the car, handcuffed. She starts praying that Jesus will take this demon out of him. She starts claiming this Christian faith and pretending like she's some sort of a Christian now that the cuffs are on. Now that she's turned a citation into an arrest. Now that she's ruined her night. Now that she's had to been thrown to the ground and cuffed and thrown into the back of a car, she still refuses to acknowledge that, hey, I was wrong. She's in cuffs in the back of the cruiser and still trying to tell the cop what to do. How long is it going to take for us to get to the house? I was like, oh my God. But she's claiming this Christian faith. And the Christian faith teaches you, as Philip Anthony Mitchell in one of his most famous sermons, comply. Give Caesar what's his. Obey. Submit. None of that crosses our mind. And we put people like Deion Sanders on a throne and point to him as a symbol, an example, and a hero and a great leader, when he refuses to model Christian behavior, humility, accepting correction, learning from past mistakes, passing on 58 years of wisdom to young people, never crosses his mind. So I enjoyed Friday night the most, and seeing Deion get humbled, although he rejected the humility that came along with losing that game, partially because of his coaching errors, partially because of an offense that still operates the exact same way as it did last year. They're allergic to running the football. Allergic. Deion gets himself a black quarterback, another one, like his son, even though he's not as in love with this kid as he is with his son. But he wants to just, hey, we're going to throw. And it blew up in their face. And a Georgia Tech team with a quarterback that just ran it down their throat for like 160 yards, beat the brakes off of Colorado at Colorado. Deion Sanders has learned nothing. He will not be allowed to learn anything, because there's always going to be the Ryan Clarks of the world and other people that will cape for Deion and make excuses for everything. Deion will be allowed to live in the delusion that he can do no wrong and that humility is a sin. Not arrogance, not self-confidence. He actually thinks humility is a sin. Oh, I love Friday. Friday was so awesome. So, and I know many of you right now, I can't stand Whitlock, that fat SOB. He just hates Deion. He hates black people. No, let me tell you something. When I quit correcting you, When I just throw up my hand and say, hey, this person can't be corrected, that's the problem. And if I quit correcting myself, that means I've given up. And that I hate myself. Because everything that I'm talking about, it applies to me. That's why last week when we had TJ Moe and Shamika and Dave Shannon on, and they corrected me in real time about prayer and all that, and I was like, oh, guilty as charged. Thank you for correcting me. Let me home. Because I'm trying to get that type of behavior out of myself on a day-to-day basis because it will make me a better person. Trust me, all of you that have never been corrected by your parents, by your grandparents, by teachers, by friends, those people don't like you. They hate you. They want to see you fail. I'd love to see Deion succeed. And that 9-4 season against them cupcakes last year, that ain't success. It's winning on a regular, consistent basis. That's what success is. We'll see if Colorado and Deion can pull that off. Good luck to them. I can tell you what, if they build it on a foundation of humility, they have a lot better chance of being a consistent winner than building on a foundation of Deion's unrepentant arrogance. Those of you all caping up for Deion are caping up for his failure. Good luck with it. All right, I got more, but I want to take a little break here, catch my breath. I want to talk when we come back. I want to talk about something off the field before I go back to on the field. But I want to talk about Dave Portnoy's debut with Fox's Big Noon Kickoff, and Lee Corso exiting College Game Day. We'll do that next. Stephen A. Smith's got a 6-inch screw in his knee.
Does he really? Oh, man. And by the way, Riley Green just released one of my old songs, Cowboy and Me.
Did you get paid off that?
Really? Yeah.
Is that where the cash register ring?
I want to pick up a couple of jet skis.
Today we have a guest who was a high-level football recruit.
Absolutely.
University of Michigan quarterback, David Cone. Welcome to BYOG.
Welcome, David.
Life ain't been all roses, boy, I've had my share of downs. But if you don't count the money, I'm the richest man in town.
You have Dolly Parton's producer, and
Yeah.
you're getting ahead of myself.
Dolly Parton's producer produced my record, and
The same person that produced Big-Breasted, Blonde, Attractive Woman. It's like, you know what?
Working
It sounded a
9 to
lot like Dolly. I mean, Tom Brady had been gone for
7 years.
Did you ever get to meet Brady?
No,
Never?
but I'd like to. So if you can hook that up.
He never came back to Michigan and talked to you guys before a game?
No,
The original Vanilla Ice. You kind of look like Vanilla Ice a little bit.
I know,
with the hair.
And Colin Cowherd called. Colin Cowherd loved the show after we put it on video. I became in front of the camera. I was on the show then, and it was only 3 months later Ben Shapiro himself called, and we made the movie Lady Ballers.
I was going to
Daily
say,
Wire.
this guy's been an actor, a singer, a videographer, a 5-star quarterback.
Not
recruit.
5-star.
You're 1 for 1. You put the bat on the ball. Let's see if that was a fluke or not.
I used to drink, and I still do what I used to do.
The Everly Brothers, Johnny Cash, and Elvis Presley. Okay, and so when we were talking
And he
about
looks
those
like
things,
every one of them.
yeah,
I was
You
gonna say-
you got the look every one of those names you mentioned.
All right, welcome back. Luke gives me, hey, are you ready? Like 1.5 seconds before coming back on the air. Welcome back. Let's get right to our next topic. Dave Portnoy made his debut for Fox Sports on their Big Noon Kickoff show, while Lee Corso made his exit from College Game Day this weekend And I think there's something we should glean from this. And so I want to start by playing you a clip of Dave Portnoy and his debut on Big Noon Kickoff, and then we'll compare that to what Lee Corso represented. Here, let's play Portnoy.
Hail to the conquering hero! Hail to the conquering hero! Hail to Michigan, the leaders in men! Welcome! What up, Nico? What up? How are we? What up, man? How we doing? Good.
You are destroying our security budget.
I have a couple things to say to these people. First of all, shut up! Shut up! I want a moment of silence, a 5-second moment of silence for all you Ohio State morons who have been saying, here comes the hammer! Michigan's getting the death penalty! We're gonna have to vacate with, shut up! Moment of silence!
All right, so that's Dave Portnoy making his debut on Big Noon Kickoff. What is that? What is that? And listen, I respect what Dave Portnoy built at Barstool Sports. I really do. But what is that? And everything isn't transferable. And so Dave Portnoy and his shtick, trolling Michigan fans, it works for Barstool and what he does at Barstool. Is it appropriate for mainstream corporate television? Is it appropriate for pregame college football? Is trolling Michigan fans? Is the angry, sticky, I never played anything, I never covered anything in a real way. What I have to offer is I'm a good troll and a spit talker. That's what I have to offer. And so Dave Portnoy is being analogized, and I was one of the people that did this, and perhaps I was wrong, but he's being analogized to Pat McAfee. And I'm not sure if that's the right analogy after watching this weekend. What that was white, or because I don't think Jewish people consider themselves white, that's Jewish Stephen A. Smith. No athletic accomplishments, no journalistic accomplishments, just a shtick. Hey, I troll people. That's Stephen A. Smith doing his Cowboys routine every Monday after a Cowboys loss. That's what this is, the elimination of qualifications. And this is why, and there you go, you got to bring Stephen A. Smith into it. Well, I do. He's set at the top. ESPN has said Stephen A. Smith is the best that sports media has to offer. And that ushers in all the other clowns. That ushers in Dave Portnoy. That ushers in Monica McNutt. That ushers in Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. It's just clown show. That Shannon Sharp's Uncle Shay Shay. That ushers in all of that. There's authenticity has been moved out. And this is where Pat McAfee does fit in. It ushers in WWE. Everything is kayfabe. Everything's a work. Everything. And I say that about Pat McAfee because he's involved in the WWE. And it's not, I can remember years ago, I'm going to test your memory. If anybody remembers whenever it was in 2007, 8, I can't remember, when me and Mike Lupica got crossways on the Sports Reporters, and they booted me off the sports reporters because I was making the point then about steroids and how Mike wanted to reduce everything down to Barry Bonds. And I was like, how can you reduce everything to Barry Bonds? All these guys are using performance-enhancing drugs. And Mike got all upset, and he was just like, it's not an entertainment industry. I was like, what do you think the E in ESPN stands for? I said that on the show. And they dusted me. Mike and Joe Valerio, the producer. I wasn't allowed to disagree with Mike Lupica that publicly and make a fool out of him that publicly. And they dusted me off the show. How dare I just not submit to Mike Lupica's divine wisdom? But there was a tiny bit of Mike that was right in terms of like, hey man, this whole thing is a work. If they're all using steroids, as I was saying that they were, because there's so much money involved, and if you were placed in that same position, I was making the point. Man, I watched journalists make up fake quotes and do all kinds of poor journalism in the name of winning journalism awards. And you think these athletes for millions upon millions of dollars won't take steroids to have a leg up? Well, journalists will make up quotes and do all kinds of things to get a leg up. And so I say all that to say Mike was troubled, like, hey, man, this is all becoming an entertainment industry. And I was saying, like, yeah, of course it is. Look at all the money that's been thrown in here. This level of money erodes everything. Journalists aren't supposed to be rich. We're supposed to be the voice of the people. We're supposed to be the common man and speak for the common man. And that's all being eliminated. It's all been eliminated. Here's Dave Portnoy worth $500 million or $250 million. Who knows? $500 million. I don't know. Here's Stephen A. Smith getting paid $20 million a year. Here's Pat McAfee getting paid $20 million a year. And they'll do anything to protect the money. There's no kayfabe that they won't do for the money. And so I want to compare Portnoy entering into the college football discussion landscape in a real way with no qualifications. And he's there to troll. He's there to engender division. Because that's what sells in this kayfabe era. You have to have a heel and you have to have a hero. And there must be this cartoon-like division for anyone to care to watch or any television network to care to promote. And then I want you to compare it to what we used to have. Here's Lee Corso. Here's a compilation of what Lee Corso brought to the table and the spirit and the feeling that Lee Corso, for I think it was 37 years at ESPN, 36 years, something along those lines. Here's what left the college football landscape on Saturday. Play the clip.
Go Bulldogs!
Yale Bulldogs.
Yale Bulldogs.
Oh, wow.
Not so fast, midget. Not so fast. Fuck it.
Hey, he likes the corn.
Forget about it. I'm going with the Trojans. I love you, but I'm sorry.
Take cover. The big boy. There it comes again. Oh, wow. I told you. Wow, that's a kick. Everybody run for cover. Raven, get Janine.
Great day. The legend Lee Corso bids farewell. Enjoy your college football Saturday.
Lee Corso put a smile on your face. Lee Corso made you laugh. Lee Corso made you love college football. Lee Corso made you feel good. Lee Corso played college football at Florida State. Lee Corso coached college football at Florida State, head coach at Indiana University, head coach at Northern Illinois, head coach of the Orlando Renegade, I think, of the United States Football League. Lee Corso brought, particularly in his early years, insight from a coaching perspective and from a player's perspective. And then Lee Corso made you feel good and put a smile on your face. Now, juxtapose that to Dave Portnoy. His entrance, Portnoy's entrance, and Corso's exit says a lot about where the sports media world has gone. We don't care. We don't value insight. We don't value playing coaching experience. We don't value decency. We don't value harmony, unification. Sports used to promote bringing us together despite our differences. Dave Portnoy, Stephen A. Smith promote division, promote tribalism. This I sounds like I'm just beating up on Dave Portnoy, but he's actually just benefiting from a system that favors what he has to offer. Degenerate gambler, some sort of sexual deviant, and an ability to troll and to bring out anger and division in people. That's what the sports media world values. And they want the most unqualified people. They want the most criminal people. They want the people easiest to bend to whatever the dollars tell them to bend to. And most people are good with it. It won't be long. Well, OnlyFans models will be running the sports media world. Men are whores too. They're no different than the OnlyFans models. We just don't call them OnlyFans models, but that's what they are. I'm not trying to depress you today, but I got some things I want to get off my chest. I'm going to let you get on with your Labor Day, but I wanted to get that off my chest. I got one more take before we get out of here and you enjoy your Labor Day. I want to talk a little bit about Bama and why Bama sucks. Next. Be sure to visit and subscribe to Jason Whitlock Harmony on YouTube. I'm diving into politics and entertainment with a unique biblical perspective, distinct from Fearless, and hosting interviews with a range of guests. Share the word, and thanks for tuning in. All right, welcome back. Alabama looked very soft against Florida State this weekend. Kellen DeBoer is off to a horrendous start. Did they say, is he like 6-6 or 6-4 against unranked teams? Or it's something crazy. And they got beat up by Florida State, looked soft doing it, didn't look like Alabama football. There's a clip going everywhere around the internet of no one on defense hustling to the ball, no one seeming to be all that interested in playing physical Alabama-style football. People are talking about, I think it's $70 million to buy out Kellen DeBoer. People are talking about paying that. People are speculating about, would Nick Saban come back and coach Alabama? People are speculating, would John Gruden be a candidate to fix Alabama. And all of it, Kellen DeBoer may need to go. Nick Saban probably would be an upgrade and to come back. John Gruden would be a significant upgrade and an incredible story. And I would imagine if Bill Belichick, Chapel Bill, looks halfway decent tonight in North Carolina's debut with Bill as a college football head coach. They play TCU tonight. If Bill Belichick looks halfway decent, John Gruden's stock in college football is going to escalate tonight. But I contend Alabama has more than a coaching problem. And I contend that that problem is going to visit more and more football programs if it goes unaddressed. These are things that you're not allowed to talk about in mainstream sports media. We're not allowed to talk about the cultural shifts that are manifest and obvious in this alphabet mafia era that we live in. The BLM, LGBTQIA+, silent P, alphabet mafia is ruining sports. Alabama's best football player is an alphabet soldier. He plays wide receiver. His name is Ryan Williams. Runs around with painted fingernails. Showed up to Saturday's game with some sort of anxiety doll that he walked into the locker room with. Your best player, probably your most expensive player, is an alphabet soldier, and you're wondering why the team is soft? Of course it's soft. He's turned it into a women's basketball team. When your sexual identity and your desire to show off your feminine side, your womanly side, your alternative lifestyle side becomes the agenda, you got a problem that will affect the entire locker room. The head coach has to walk around on eggshells. He can't talk the way that he used to talk because the best player might be offended. And I'm not talking about the head coach or assistant coaches throwing around the F word. I'm just talking about a coach talking about the kind of masculinity that it takes to play football on a consistent day-to-day basis. That all might be upsetting to your best player whose fingernails are painted and he needs an anxiety doll. We've seen this already. USC had a quarterback named Caleb Williams who is now with the Chicago Bears. USC, and my memory's a tiny bit dusty and faulty at 58. But USC never won anything and never achieved anything with Caleb Williams, the best quarterback in football. You can't put that personality type at the top of a football team's roster and culture setting. It can't be done. And so I'm what coaches, football teams used to do is like, or where they need to go. Let me say this, because there was a strong culture of male, irresponsible, sexual, promiscuous behavior that was welcomed and tolerated within football locker rooms and sports locker rooms. But what you now have to do is eliminate sexual identity from your entire culture. I had a coach tell me, a female coach told me that she's got a speech she gives every year that basically it's built around a joke, and she basically tells her players, I don't want to know who you're screwing. You don't want to know who I'm screwing. We don't want it in our locker room. Basketball is what we're going to do in this locker room. I shouldn't even have said the sport. But basketball is what we're going to do inside this locker room. And that same message will need to go out in football locker rooms. I don't want to know who you're screwing. You don't want to know who I'm screwing. We're going to talk football in this locker room. Leave your painted fingernails, leave your anxiety dolls, leave all your feminine energy someplace else. Because feminine energy doesn't win football games. It might win bake sales. It might sell subscriptions on OnlyFans. It'll clean a kitchen. But it doesn't win football games. Leave it at home. Go be feminine in your personal life. In your football life, all we want is male, toxic masculinity and energy. That's what wins football games. And so when I look at Alabama and why that team is soft, the culture's soft. At the top of their food chain is an alphabet soldier. It does not work. Not in combat sports. Not in real life. You can do it in your personal life, individually. But when you're trying to instill a culture and a mindset within a team in a combat sport, Caleb, whatever. Is it Caleb Williams? Yeah. And Ryan Williams. I don't know what's up with these Williams boys. Go get your nails did someplace else. Not here on my football team. Happy Labor Day, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this extra Labor Day work we just put in. We'll play tomorrow. Will we play tomorrow? We will. We will play tomorrow, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Waiting for the countdown, coming off the breakdown, standing in line for freedom. Looking for a breakout, feeling like a standoff, nothing in life like freedom. Came in like a fighter, striking like a ladder, making all these moves for freedom. I want freedom. No negotiation, my sister, no relation, we all just wanna have freedom. Sitting on the corner, never been alone.